David Byrne, welcome.
Thank you.
Look, let me start by asking you about the show, why you're here. I've seen this show described variously as intriguing, a marvel, joyful. Joy is a word that comes up quite a bit in the descriptions of your show, even goofy. There's music, there's dance. What are you trying to do or say with this show?
Wow. When I'm putting a show together, and there's always a lot of collaborators, the lighting people and the choreographer that I brought in and other people. I often don't know exactly what it's about right off the bat, and then it starts to fall into place, and you start to see, okay. Besides this, the fact that we're all mobile and dancing and moving around, and we're having a great time. So that gets communicated to the audience without having to say it. A lot of it is, wow, I do a little bit of talking, not too much, but a little bit. And a lot of the talking is kind of about COVID, the whole pandemic thing, and how things that I did, things that I realized, given that time alone and kind of the pause button pressed on life. And that how important the kind of human connection is that we lost, many of us, during that time. Wasn't the same everywhere. I know Australia had pretty rigorous rules and quarantines about people coming in, trying to keep it from spreading and kind of reigniting here. But New York, it was pretty bad.
But did that period leave a lasting impression, a profound impression?
I think it did on not just me. I think it did on a lot of people in ways that they don't acknowledge. Some of it's obvious. There were kids who were going to college who suddenly couldn't go to classes. They just were doing it all on Zooms and online and getting through, but kind of having a miserable time, not seeing their friends or going to physical classes. There was the whole kind of work from home thing that happened, and never really all came back. To some extent, that's kind of wonderful, and in another way, you came to realize that, in-person meetings, working together, you actually get a lot done and faster.
But you're not just talking about the bad stuff during that period.
No.
For you, there was a lot to come out of that, a lot of good to come out of that. I did a lot of drawings during that period. I couldn't go out and make music. There was this realization of how much being with other people and this connection, how much it means to us, not just to me. A realization.
Well, yeah. Once you've had something taken away, you realize, I missed that. You realize how important it is. Then there was other things. I did a lot of drawings and learned to cook things by myself that I wouldn't have learned otherwise, and all that sort of thing.
I want to come back to this idea of joy and, I guess, celebrating the human condition and the dance that you do and the adventure that you take your audience on. I mean, we do live in a time, we keep being told, of great geopolitical uncertainty and unrest, and we're shouting at each other online, and we're so polarized. Why are you focusing on the joy at the moment? Is this to provide some entertainment, or are you genuinely trying to shift community sentiment?
I'm trying, in my own way, to show that there's an alternative, that things don't have to be divided and us yelling at one another all the time, that we actually have a lot in common. I don't ignore the other stuff. There's a few sections of the show that really go into kind of what's happening in the world. But for the most part, I feel like the way to resist that is you have to present an alternative to it. You can't just say, oh, yes, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. You have to go, oh, yes, but what are you offering as a replacement?
Are you trying to encourage more kindness, more empathy?
Yeah, but in our own way. I mean, we do it through a music show.
I think you've even said that punk used to be yelling and making a big noise, but now this is the resistance, kindness and empathy.
Yeah, that's a quote from an actor and director, John Cameron Mitchell, that I read somewhere not too long ago, and it kind of surprised me. I thought that's a really, really cool way of putting it.
Is that how you see it? I mean, you know, in the 70s when talking heads emerged, you were very new wave, cutting edge, ahead of the curve. Is this, I guess, a similar thing, what you're trying to do, encouraging this kindness and empathy? Is this the new punk?
That's his quote. And I thought, yeah, and I say that on stage, that he put forward this idea that love and kindness is the punkiest thing you can do right now. And at first I thought, really? I associate punk with a lot of yelling and noise and this and that, but he's right. When he thinks of it as being a kind of a means of expression, kind of do-it-yourself means of expression, a way to make your own little community that's about what the things you love and the things that excite you. He said, yeah, that's what this is about now.
Take us back to 1970s New York. I guess there's often a romantic view of that era and the music that came out of it, what you and others were doing at the time. How do you remember that era?
I remember, it doesn't seem romantic to me. I mean, the situation in New York was pretty dire politically and socially. The city was kind of really falling apart. But that left a lot of opportunities for artists and musicians. Rents were cheap, so artists and musicians could just move into lofts and apartments and afford to work a day job or a part-time job and play music. And
that's what you were doing?
That's what I did. That's what some of the others did.
What was your part-time job?
The first one I had there was as a movie usher in the daytime. And the way it was set up was, so I would tear the tickets, and so I was between people coming in, and the screen with the seats was right behind me. So once everyone was in, I could just turn around and watch the movie. And
good deal.
Of course, yeah, that was good when it was a good movie.
Right.
When it was kind of a hack job, you really realize that a movie that's done without kind of certain kinds of consideration or skills, it doesn't hold up to repeated viewing. And you're kind of tired of it after one or two. But something that's really well made, you see more in it every time it's running behind you.
Did it give you inspirational material for your own work?
No, I don't think so. No. That was a fun job, though.
Okay. But that era in the 70s, tough time in New York, by the sounds of it. But musically, what was going on? Take us to that period.
Musically, there were little groups of musicians who, it was very kind of do-it-yourself, and they realized, there's a handful of clubs we can play in. We can do our own music in a variety of styles and genres. So it came, the sound came to be kind of a specific kind of sound, like, this is punk rock or new wave or whatever. But there was all kinds of things. There was country bands. There was kind of prog rock bands and theatrical bands and all kinds of things going on. It wasn't just one kind of sound. And yeah, they were all kind of playing in the same clubs.
A real melting pot.
Yeah, it was kind of great. It was kind of great.
You, I mean, obviously things have changed. How would you describe New York today and the music scene there 50 years on?
I would say that it's very different. Manhattan, where I live, has gotten unaffordable for a lot of artists and musicians. They've moved out to Brooklyn or Queens or other kind of a little bit further out from the center of the city. But those areas are kind of still thriving, even though they're getting very expensive. But there's a lot of music. There's a lot of, it's almost like you can't suppress it. And which is kind of surprising to me because it doesn't get any easier, but people keep doing it.
For you though, as a musician, as an artist, do you still draw inspiration from the same sort of things, the everyday object, the observation of the human condition? Has that changed at all for you?
No, I don't think so. I think I get inspiration from more or less the same things. Write down something if I hear something or see something, or if I say something, let's go, oh, that's a lyric right there.
Or an album. No, the
Maybe.
name of your record. Who is The Sky?
Yes.
Which was, what was it, a speech to text that went wrong from Who is
Yes,
This Guy?
There was a speech to text that went wrong, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's great. You know what the person was trying to say, and yet it comes across as this very cosmic, metaphysical,
Very profound question.
profound statement. Yes,
Indeed. One thing that hasn't changed for you over the years is your interest, your love of collaboration. I mean, there's such a long list. Brian Eno, of course. I mean, Fatboy Slim, St. Vincent, Miley Cyrus. I mean, the list goes on. Why is collaborating so important for you?
when I collaborate with people, I get to see how they work. I have to, if it works, there's a kind of give and take, and you kind of, whatever, 1 and 1 makes 3. You get something extra. You get a kind of third thing emerges that it isn't specifically one person or the other, and you get that, and that's pretty great because you wouldn't have come up with that by yourself. And it doesn't always work. I mean, I've done some where, for one reason or another, it was like, oh, well, okay.
What was that one?
Well, that was I worked with, I remember one, I worked with a dance music DJ, European guy, very popular. He asked if I would kind of write a melody and some words over some tracks he'd done, which I did. But it turned out there was technical problems. And in translating his tracks into my software and back, it all seemed to be working fine. But there was something where I either sped it up or slowed it down unintentionally. So
Didn't quite work.
yeah, didn't work for him. For me, I thought, oh, sounds fine. But in that world, there are really specific tempos that this is the tempo that is going to work in the club.
Is there anyone still on the list, any dream collaboration that you would still like to do?
I don't know. It just happens sometimes. I'm not always seeking it. Sometimes people reach out to me. There's a young woman here, Montaigne, who did a couple of songs with her a few years ago. She and her people just reached out, and I listened to the music and thought, oh, this is really good.
So they reach out to you. I'm sure
Sometimes.
musicians must love to reach out and
They know that I'll
collaborate
do it.
with you.
That there's a possibility I'll do it.
Yeah. Look, you are not just a hugely influential musician and performer, but across the arts. You mentioned the drawing, the visual art, there's been the filmmaking, there's been the poetry, the books. You've won all the awards, the Oscar, the Grammy, the Emmy, you name it. You've also talked about your undiagnosed neurodiversity as well. Is this a strength for you? How have you seen this part of you through your work?
Wow. It was quite a number of years ago, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, that a friend was visiting, and she was reading some magazine article about the Asperger's spectrum and people who are kind of on the mild end of the spectrum. And she was kind of going off the symptoms. She goes, "David, listen to this. This is you."
What were they? What sort of traits?
Kind of intense focus on something, or if you work on something, you just kind of you can block everything else out and really focus on that. Maybe being a little socially awkward. I was less so now, but certainly was more so in the past. Taking things very literally. That's an interesting one. I still do that.
But all of this, I mean,
says something. I'm going. But this is what you said, and they say, "Oh no!" But when someone says that, they actually mean that.
yeah,
And I thought
that can be difficult.
Oh, now I know.
Right. But you see this as a strength for you, helping your work, particularly that ability to really focus when you need to.
Yes, the ability to really focus. That's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
The ability sometimes to conceptually kind of step outside a situation or a relationship or see what's going on and see it kind of as I've been described as a kind of anthropologist from Mars or something, and kind of look at it that way. That works for me.
Obviously, a lot of things have worked for you. There would be a lot of people watching, just absolute fans of Talking Heads and wondering, why did it have to come to an end? And your creativity, though, has continued since then. Do you ever regret the end of that period, or do you feel like it's been a positive thing for you in your career?
Oh, I love a lot of the things we've did with Talking Heads, the films and the concerts and the records we did. But I was definitely going itching to try other things musically, and was meeting some resistance. So there was a time where I thought, okay, I can see what's going to happen here.
And it had to happen.
Yeah.
I want to also ask you about your other great love, cycling. You're a cycling enthusiast. You're seen riding around New York. You've even written a book about your love of cycling. You've even designed bike racks in New York. Did you bring a bike for the tour?
Yes. I didn't write it here because I didn't want to be all sweaty, but
Was it one of the fold-away?
it's a fold-up bike.
Fold-away bikes.
Yeah. In fact, everyone in the band has one now.
Is that right?
I mean, it's not a requirement. It's not a requirement, but it's an offer. It's like,
Here's a bike.
here, if you want it, we'll get you a bike.
Is it exercise or is it?
It's a
is
little
it
bit.
something else?
It's not heavy exercise, right? I'm not like doing whatever huge long rides, or like, oh, where's the nearest steep hill? But it's a way of not being trapped in the hotel or backstage or whatever the normal situation for a band. Traveling is like, oh, you can go out and explore. The whole town is available to you now.
So this comes back to observation, observing everyday life, observing humanity. You can do that on two wheels.
Yes, you can do that very easily on a bike. If you see something interesting, you just stop and get off. You would rarely do that in a car. You'd have to look for a place to park, and it's a whole thing. But on a bike, it's really easy. You just go, oh, look at that.
A profile on you, the New Yorker magazine described you as riding a bike around New York, still asking big questions about what it means to be alive. It's a great quote. I mean, have you found the answers to those big questions?
I mean, I'm not telling. No, I don't have. I'm not. I realized not that long ago. I realized my songs are all questions. They're all asking questions, but they don't provide answers. Not in the song, but I think our presence and what we do and how we present ourselves, that's the answer.
And the curiosity for you is also clearly
Yeah.
the great interest as well, asking those questions,
Yeah.
continuing
yeah,
to observe and
yeah.
ask those questions.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like, oh, yes, you're allowed to ask these questions. Sometimes, and not be ashamed to raise your hand and go, well, wait a minute. Why is that way?
And is that, coming back to what you're doing with this show, what you're trying to encourage, a better understanding, observation of each other as humans?
I think we try not to be dogmatic about it. We're just kind of like, well, this is what we're doing. And if that comes across by osmosis or whatever, then that's the way we do it.
David Byrne, wonderful to talk. Thanks so much.
Good to talk to you.